Michael Block is joining us following the 105th PGA Championship. Michael, first of all, congrats on an incredible week. Has everything you accomplished the last few days begun to sunk in yet?
Not quite yet. I just got a call from Colonial, and I'm in next week as is the last sponsors exemption, which is really even more mind-boggling now. So I'm readjusting flights to head to Dallas and Fort Worth. So I'm looking forward to that, to say the least. No, this week's been absolutely a dream. I had no idea it was going to happen, but if I knew if I just played my darn game right, that I could do this, and I always knew it. And I had this intuition that it was going to happen with. I always had this thing. It was going to happen with Tiger Woods. It really was. I always saw myself coming down the stretch with Tiger Woods, and I was like, I'm going to do it, even if I'm 45 or whatever it is. I'm going to come down the stretch in an event with Tiger. It just happened to be that I was in the 2023 PGA Championship at Oak Hill, and I had Rory McIlroy in my group. And I wasn't coming down the stretch to win, but at the same time, Sunday at a major with the crowd here at Rochester was unreal.
Perfect. Thanks. We'll get through some questions. 5, 4, and 2, please.
Hey, Michael. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just the emotions finally caught up to you after the CBS interview, and you had to go into a tent and kind of take a breath. What did you think of as you took that breath? Yeah.
I didn't cry when I had my kids. I cry for some reason. If you love golf, you know. I mean, I cry about golf, to be honest. I've cried only a couple times in my life. When I won the national championship in 2014 in Myrtle Beach at the Dunes Club, I cried. And then after that, my wife hasn't seen me cry until this week. And so if it makes any sense that the one thing in the world that makes me cry is golf. So if that puts into context as far as how much I love the game, you know now. So it's everything to me. Obviously, I love my family and everything else and my job and everything, but golf's my life. I live it, breathe it, and I made sure of one thing in my life, that I was going to drive to a golf course every day, whether it was a caddy or an outside service kid or an assistant pro or a head pro or general manager. I was going to be at a golf course, and I came to a golf course today at Oak Hill and played in the PGA Championship.
And what was it like as CBS showed you the tape from your home club with all the people celebrating and cheering you on?
Yeah, it was the most people I've ever seen at O'Neill's ever. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it's busy a lot because it's a great spot and the food's great and the drinks are great. Armando serves a fantastic cocktail. But to see how busy it was and to see they actually had looked like a watch party to me was pretty darn cool. And I can't wait to get back to them and celebrate with them. But sad to say, but not sad to say, is that I will miss them this week because I'm going to Colonial, so I'll see them next week.
Michael, we asked you yesterday how much fun you're having. So I'll ask the same question right now. How much fun is this?
It wasn't nearly as much fun today. I got some really bad lies starting on hole 1. I mean, the lie I had on 1 was ridiculous. And I make a bogey. No putts dropped in. I was rolling it the same, but as everyone knows, it's a golfer, right? Today they weren't breaking and dropping in the hole. They were going right over the edges, and I kind of knew it was going to happen. I mean, in my heart, I'm going, dude, you know, for 3 days I've made a lot of putts, right? And I'm like, just stick with it. You know it's not going to last probably for 4 straight days, and so not to get too frustrated. So I almost kind of preemptively told myself, I'm not going to make everything today. Don't get frustrated with it, and I did because I kind of knew what was going to happen, and I just kind of went through it. I was 2 over, made the hole-in-one out of nowhere, got back to even par, and I go, you know what? That's what you do. I hate being over par. That's just my deal, right? I hate being over par, and so I was over par by 2. I made a hole-in-one, got back to even, and then I made a really bad bogey on 16 to go back to 1, but then I made some crazy up and downs on 17 and 18, which I play as short par 5s. To finish at 1 over and to make a decent check.
If at the start of the week someone were to have rattled off, like say Wednesday, if they were to rattle off all the things that have happened this week, what would you have told them?
So I was at the Pittsburgh pub on Sunday night. Not one single person knew me. I'm going to go there in about an hour, and it's going to be on. We're going to have crazy good time tonight, and I look forward to it. And my life's changed, but my life's only changed in the better. I got my family, I got my friends, I got the people that really love me and care about me here. And it's an epic experience, and I couldn't thank the PGA, and I can't thank Oak Hill enough. And I can't thank you guys enough for being so awesome and enjoying the experience.
You know, with those people at the Pittsburgh pub and, you know, the people on 18 chanting your name like that, your story has resonated with a lot of people here this week. Why do you think that is?
I'm like the new John Daly, but I don't have a mullet, and I'm not quite as big as him yet. But, you know, I mean, so I'm just a club professional, right? I work. I have fun. I got a couple boys I love to play golf with. I got a great wife. Got great friends. I live the normal life. I love being at home. Love sitting in my backyard. My best friend in the world is my dog. Can't wait to see him. I miss him so much. It's ridiculous. My little black lab. Yeah, it's been a surreal experience, and I have this weird kind of sensation that life's not going to be quite the same moving forward, but only in a good way, which is cool.
Two?
Just thinking about your crew back home, your assistant pros, the whole squad at the course. What do you hope that they take away from your performance this week and your success?
Well, I want to take all the assistant pros, not only at Arroyo Chabuco Golf Club, but all the assistant pros and head pros and future pros that are even thinking about getting into the golf business, to say, you know what, you have the opportunity to go play in your section championship and finish whatever it is, top 5, top 10, whatever it might be, to go to the national championship, and then there you finish on the top 20, you're going to come here or wherever it might be that year to play in the PGA championship. So the way I've always looked at it in my life is like, so you're telling me this, I'm going to finish top 10 in the Southern California championship, and then I go and finish top 20 in the national championship, and I'm going to be at a PGA championship, which is the major championship. The PGA of America gives you that opportunity. What an inspiration that is, right? And I've lived with that mantra, same way with the U.S. Open. I've always said if you shoot 69 in the local qualifier, you're to the sectionals. And then if you shoot 69-69 in the sectionals, you're probably in the U.S. Open. So 3 69s, you're playing the Open, right? That's how I've lived. I live on those kind of world terms where it makes reality easier. You don't have to go shoot 63, 63, 64, something like that to go do what we're doing. You just have to be real. You got to practice, and you got to commit your life to the game, and hope you have a supportive family like I do, and a club like I do. And if you don't, move on to the next club and find one that does.
Let's go up to 12 and then 11.
Michael, that was an all-world up and down on 18. Were you nervous over that putt, and did you know where you stood in terms of qualifying for next year's PGA?
I had no idea. I made sure that I had no idea. I told my caddy, John, at the beginning of the day, well, I'm not going to look at leaderboards throughout the day, no matter what happens. Good, bad, or indifferent, I'm not looking. Because in the past, sometimes I get ahead of myself. I start booking rooms at hotels that I haven't even qualified for, and it's never worked out well. So I no longer get ahead of myself. I had no idea where I was, and if you put me at 120 yards out on 17, hitting my third shot, and if you put me on 18, hitting my third shot from that 40 yards side hill lie out of the rough to a tight pin on 18, and then you tell me I'm going to get up and down on both of those to make next year's PGA championship, there's no way in God's green earth I would have done it. So, lucky enough, I didn't look at the leaderboards. I was just grinding my butt off, and I did it.
Great job. Can you walk us through what happened on 15?
The hole in
what
one?
you were thinking?
The hole in one?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Rory hits. He misses the green right. I'm just like, oh. I'm like, yeah, you can't go there, right? And so then I'm over my tee shot, and the crowd goes crazy. Like, the crowd went nuts. I hadn't even hit yet. So I had to, like, step back. I'm like, this is pretty cool, right? This huge reception I haven't even hit. So I sit back for a sec. I'm like, this is cool, but I got this like nice flighted 7. I could either hit like a hard 8, but all day long when I try to hit anything hard, I was pulling it. And so I'm like, I'm just going to flight a little 7 in there into the breeze from like 150. It was playing about 167 in my head. And so I hit it, and it's just right at it, but I can't see it. I'm like, just like right now. And all of a sudden, it disappears, whatever. And I'm like, cool. And I'm like, thanks, guys. And Rory's walking down the pathway, and he's about 20 yards away from me, and he turns around, starts walking back at me with his arms open to give me a hug. And he goes, you made it. I go, what? I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah, you did. You made it. He's like, had to tell me 5 times that I made it. So it's a pretty cool experience to have Rory be telling me that I made a hole-in-one in front of God knows how many people that were supporting me.
How many hole-in-ones have you had?
3 before, never in a tournament in my life. I've always talked about how I've never had one in a tournament, and the situation under that, I mean, that was it. I don't need to have another one. I'm good.
Michael, before we take a few more questions, he here has something special for you.
Michael, congratulations on your tournament, and congratulations on your hole-in-one.
Thank you.
Oak Hill Country Club would like to give you that flag from this morning, or this afternoon. A little memory.
You guys are awesome.
You always think of us.
Thank you. Hey, come here. I appreciate it. How about that, guys, huh? Yeah. This will be going up in a great spot. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate that, the thought about it. I blew the hole out. Like, we literally had to kind of recut like Roy was like, we need to recut that thing because, I mean, I walked up there and half the whole back was just blown out of it. So, yeah, pretty cool, great experience. I still feel like I'm just on a cloud 9 right now.
You bought any drinks yet?
Have I what?
Have you bought any drinks yet?
No, I haven't. They surprised me earlier. They're like, Michael, so we got some downtime. Just come in this little room. You got some downtime. You can just hang out. I'm like, okay. But I'm like, I'm going to go sign some autographs. And I'm like, no, just come on. I'm like, okay. So I end up walking in there, and it's a table, and we've got some couple bottles of Casamigos and a couple IPAs, which you might have heard. And I had all my friends and my general manager right here, Matt Donovan, who allows me to do this. We sat there, and while we're sitting there, they hand me the phone, and it was on conference call or whatever, it was speakerphone, and it was Michael from the Colonial event, which is next week in Fort Worth, and he said that he was offering the last exemption into the Colonial next week for me, which, as you know me, I got emotional again, and I'm in Colonial next week, which is pretty darn cool. So I gotta change my plans for tomorrow's flights.
All right, a few more. We'll go 11, 1, 14, and 5, please.
Michael, congratulations. Awesome weekend. On that, I mean, with how much you love golf, it is apparent how much you love golf. How does it feel to have these doors opening, you know, Colonial immediately and then coming back to Valhalla next year for the PGA Championship? I mean, you've already said your life is changing, but you're now going to get to do this more often because of today. Has that sunk in at all?
Yeah, the cool part is I'm super comfortable, right? I just played Justin Rose on Saturday in a major, and then Rory McIlroy on the Sunday at a major. I'm not sure how it gets any bigger than that. So when I go play at Colonial next week, it's gonna not gonna feel like a down, but it's gonna be like no problem, right? Compared to what I just did the last couple of days. So I'm comfortable. I'm happy. I'm kind of built for this, to tell you the truth. I mean, in a way, I'm just being me, which is the most important thing that happened a year ago with my wife and with Matt, where they told me just to be me and not just to be a club pro when I come here and to be a tour pro, which I guess I could prove this weekend with a 15th place in a major. That, I mean, that makes me choke up even thinking. I didn't even think about it yet, but I got 15th place in a major championship.
What the so talking about Colonial, talking about Colonial, what do you expect the reception to be from the PGA Tour players?
Boy, they're all great. The PGA Tour players are great. Yeah, they're, I mean, inside the clubhouse here at Oak Hill, every single one of them that saw me was like, keep it up, do it. Zach Johnson came to me. He literally sought me out on the putting green yesterday morning, came up to me and goes, just keep being you, which is cool. We're both Iowa boys from back in the day, and we're similar ages and stuff like that. So to hear that from him, and then Min Woo and a couple other guys. I mean, and Rory and Rosie were fantastic, but everyone's been super supportive. All the tour players have been amazing. I'm kind of looking actually forward to see how the Fort Worth, Dallas fans are with me. You know, we'll see how it goes. But hopefully, you know, I mean, it's gonna be hard to live up to the Rochester folks, but we'll see how it goes.
So a couple of things connected with that. Clearly, you were saying you were ready for this moment. I mean, you had a vision of this moment. So what is your vision starting next week with Colonial, and what do you expect to do?
The way I'm playing, and from what I've heard about Colonial, I've never played the golf course before, but I think it's going to set up very well for me. From what I know, it's tight, it's fast, it's hot, great greens. That's me. It's Bermuda. That's what I play on in California. So all in all, am I expecting to make the cut? Absolutely. I want to go there top 10, whatever it is. I want to get more phone calls. I want to get more exemptions. I want people to start calling me and saying, hey, we want you in our event because it makes it better. And that's great to me.
And the last thing from me is you seem very comfortable with the cameras, with the fame, with all that. There's an element here that maybe connects with your students, with the kids at your club, with everything, which is kind of being a role model. So how do you see that? I mean,
that's just me, to be honest. I mean, I love kids. I love dogs. When I see the kid out there with his hand out to give me 5, I really have a big issue with passing him by or her by. I really do. Like, if you were to watch me today, I had 80 hands out, but this little thing was down here, right? And I'm like, I'm giving that one 5 right there, you know, no matter what. Whether I just made double bogey or an eagle, I'm going to go give that person a high 5. And that's how it is. It's always going to be like that. I was born that way, and my parents raised me that way, and I was having a good time, and I'm going to take the same vibe to Fort Worth next week and have a great time.
You mentioned that you thought you had this in you. Was there any part of this week that surprised yourself?
The hole-in-one. Yeah, that was it. I honestly just played golf outside of that. Blocky golf, hit fairways, hit little baby cuts out there. Putted how I normally do. The greens were perfect here, so the hole looks huge to me. You know, that's the big part. Is like I come here, the hole looks like it's 6 inches wide. It really does. I mean, it's cut so perfectly. The greens are so good. The hole looks huge. So I feel like I had an advantage, you know? I'm over a putt, and I'm going, that hole looks big. And then I know a lot of people, they get over the putt, and they're like, as you guys know as golfers, you get over a putt, and you're like, dude, is there even a hole there, you know? And so that's how I felt this week. And hopefully I inspire a lot of people to practice and to work hard at it and to understand the fact that just because they're not on tour right now, they can't come and live a dream like I did.
You talk about only crying over golf moments in your life. Did that ever lead to any awkward conversations when maybe you didn't cry over everything? Over
yeah, 100%. Yeah, Val, my wife, was very disappointed in the fact that I never cried when my children were being born. But she understands now how important the game of golf is to me, which is, this is it, you know? I live, breathe it. Like I said, I'm going to go to golf course no matter what. Whether I'm working outside service, cleaning clubs on the weekends, or cleaning shoes, or running the club, I don't care what it is. I'm going to drive over that hill, and I'm going to go to a golf course in a polo and live my dream.
All right, we'll wrap up on 5.
Michael, you've said it a few times, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but what's it like to be living every hacker's dream?
Yeah, no, I'm as normal as it gets, right? It's a thing for me where I'm not trying to be an inspiration. I'm not trying to do anything, and that's kind of the big deal. Is I'm not trying to be anybody outside of myself, and hopefully people gravitate towards it and appreciate it and be themselves and succeed in their goals as I have this week. As they kind of documented, was my big goal this week was to be the low club pro, right? And that maybe meant shooting 9 over after 2 days and beating the other guys, and then shooting 25 over on the weekend, right? I could have been happy with that, but I wasn't. I wanted to be low club pro, but then also change my aspect and my thoughts about it, and said, let's just finish as high as we can. I didn't look at any leaderboards, and now that I know I'm 15th place and I made $288,000 or something like that, is insane that I did that playing golf. And I love the fact that I sit in my backyard by my fire pit with my kids and my dog, and I always sit there and I go, you guys, I always tell them this. I always say, do you guys know that golf built this? Golf fed you tonight. Golf has the yard. Golf supplied the home that I have in Orange County, California. That golf did this for you guys. And I always tell this to my kids, that golf did it. And golf just did a little bit more for me this week.
And I know you've got a meeting at the Pittsburgh pub, so one more question. Just why now? Why do you think all this has come together now at 46? I mean, and what might it have been like? Why now?
I think I was the second best player at my high school. I played tennis. So I played varsity tennis all my high school years, and then finally the senior year they allowed me to play golf and tennis in the spring sport. So I played both. Then I wasn't recruited by anybody to play college golf. I won the St. Louis Amateur Championship maybe when I was 19 or 20 or something like that, and then all of a sudden the coach from St. Louis, it's called University of Missouri St. Louis, came up to me and goes, hey, we'll give you a scholarship, come play for us. I'm like, okay, cool. So I went and did that, played college golf, and after that, I mean, I didn't do anything. I opened up a golf course with these guys, right? With Matt Donovan and Jeff Cram. I opened up a golf course with these guys in Orange County, California in 2004, and didn't play golf for 8 years. The only thing I ever played was a Tuesday morning skins game with my outside service kids. That was it. I didn't have my Class A. I didn't worry about getting my Class A at that point. And I just worried about making sure that we were running golf tournaments and keeping the members happy and keeping Jeff and Matt happy. And that's what I did for 8 straight years. And then someone at some point said, hey, Blocky, you're just throwing money out your sunroof by not going out and getting your Class A and competing against the best PGA professionals in the world. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I went and did that in 10 months, and I got my Class A in 10 months, which is not easy to do, by the way. And ever since then, it's been a storybook deal, and especially now.
Thanks, Michael. Congrats again.
Thank you, guys. I'm going. No, I'm filling it up.